Oh,
There you go.
who is that over there? All right. Hello and good evening, everybody. You are back with the Staple Crew, and we are actually live tonight. And typically, that's not the case on my videos, but tonight I have a very interesting guest that many of you know. If you've ever gone to the XRP show with me, Mr. Ron Wood, who has been behind the camera with almost all the events in Las Vegas, as a matter of fact. But he's really become a part of our family, and he's really means a lot to my son and I in this channel. And I can't thank you enough for having me at your house here in South Florida. And we'll get into it over the show as to why I'm here in South Florida. But tonight's show is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be so much about the trust my exit strategies tonight. It's going to be more about, well, if you were sitting in Ron's chair, what would you ask Mr. Allan on this channel and a live stream with us tonight? So you can also post some of the comments over there, and maybe we can get to those as well. So with all that introduction out of the way, Ron, I appreciate. Thank you for having me in your home, and nice hat, by the way.
Yes. So, yeah, you gotta know somebody to get one of these. It's you got an inside track, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But so I've never done one of these, and I did not just do 2 shots of tequila. I just want to make that clear to loosen up, tonight. But guys, I am touching Allan Staple. Okay, I'm touching him. I'm right here with him.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of this man. I love him to death from the moment I met him, which goes back to a Zach Rector show. If you guys know Zach, it went back to that Bob. How long ago was that Bob episode? Like 3-4 years was now?
21, I believe.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah. 3-4 years.
Well, I've had the privilege today of driving around South Florida with Allan. It turns out he's got some history here. I guess. Yeah, you have a little history in Fort Lauderdale, don't you?
I do, yeah. Being a yacht captain, this is the yachting capital of the world, so I lived here for quite a few years, actually. Had a house right somewhat up the street. Very similar neighborhood.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're driving around, and he's like, this, that, it's like, this is meant to be. It felt great.
Yeah.
But today, can we talk about it up front, or you want to talk about it later? Because I'm allowed to ask questions. Is this what it is?
Yeah,
I have a little bit of authority to say whatever I want.
It's your show, brother.
All right, so go to my website no, I'm just sorry. So I've had so much fun yesterday when Allan came in town, got him at the airport. He's got a few of his friends in the house here tonight. They brought over some candy for the kids, which they are now rock stars as a result of. You guys will meet Kenny at some point if you haven't, Mike. But what we've been doing has been riding around, looking at some beautiful places for the show in South Florida. And the first question I really want to have for Allan, because I know we all love him to death. If you guys are anything like me, we got an unhealthy love for this man because of the beauty that is both inside this guy and on the outside. So my question for you, Allan, here we are. You're trying to plan this what are we going to call it, a show or a get-together, a family event, maybe in January or February if someone has their way. Get you guys out of the winter, come down to Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell all of us, like, why do you want to go through all this effort? Why do you want to bring everybody together? This is a lot of work, man. You're flying across the country. You're spending all these days. Like, are we really worth it to put on a show like this? Why are you doing this?
Will, is a great question. First of all, I remember when I was somebody who used to follow YouTube channels, and I always wanted to meet them. And every time I thought, wow, man, one day I just wish I could go to a meetup and I could meet that person. And I knew that it would happen one day, but one time it actually happened for Brent and I. And when it did, we drove all the way to Texas from California. It was a 25-hour drive, by the way. And we drove all the way out there, and the man barely gave us the time of day. And there was only 80 people there. Huh. And I thought, well, you SOB, what was that all about? I mean, we somewhat, I don't know that worship's the right word, but I watched and listened to every word the man ever said on every channel that he's been on. He's had a couple of 2-3 channels. And I won't throw the guy in the bus today, and I thought, I was told that day that if I ever did a show, you'd be fantastic at it. You should do a YouTube channel. You should just do it because we just like your style and the way you explain things is just so simple. And I think it'd be really good and you'd be successful at it. Well, the 25-hour drive home, I made a promise to my son and I said, no matter what happens, I'm going to think of the people behind the camera first. And it's really been a motto of mine. And it's really been because I work for a lot of people and a lot of very famous people and a lot of very wealthy people. And the ones I always appreciated, the ones I really thought a lot of, were the ones that always remembered everybody's names. They took the time and they really listened to people. And that's really what life's about. It doesn't matter what you do or where you come from or what your background is at all. It's like we're all in this together. And I really want to meet everybody. And the people that have met me personally, they understand that I'm not just talking about that. That's what I do all day is meet people whenever I get the chance. So, long-winded answer to your question. I thought the first XRP show that I went to was fantastic because we only had like 400 people there, 500 people. And I had a lot of time to talk to people and meet people. And it was such a pleasure. But I felt like I was supposed to listen to everybody on the stage. Well, what I learned the second show was like, I just want to talk to people all day. And then this past show, as you and I know, we had some complications in our booth, but we had a live booth and it was kind of crazy. But I didn't get the time to spend with the people, to meet everybody, shake everybody's hand, find out what your dog's name is, all those fun things. If I had my own show, I could spend the entire day making sure that I met every single person that ever attended. And I could take the time and I could say, listen, don't worry about a bunch of people on stage and presentations. This is a networking event. This is people, XRP family talking with XRP family. Sorry about the long-winded answer, but that's why I want to do this. I want to do it because everybody deserves it. You all need somebody to speak to about XRP. And I'm not just talking about Allan and yourselves. I'm talking about everybody in the room is going to understand everything you've been through. And you need somebody to talk to, express your life and what you've gone through in all these years with the court case and the rest of it. It's been challenging for all of us. And then now we get this opportunity to hopefully succeed. And when we do, you're going to want to know everybody in that room because they've been through your life experience. And that's what life's about, experiencing things together.
And, speaking of XRP, maybe it's a coincidence, but who knows? I just want to point out, I think today, we were saying in the chat, how you guys feeling today about XRP, Bitcoin, all that stuff's happening? Don't you find it a strange coincidence that when Allan got to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, XRP just started taking off? I mean, I think this is some kind of a sign, this has been amazing.
I'm taking credit for all
that. He gets the credit. The universe is speaking to us here. No, it's been a really wild ride these last 48 hours or so. I think we all got a little excitement in us here for what's happening. But getting back to the show and your reason, I love it. I mean, I've been doing so much research here for at least a solid week or well, we've been talking for several weeks about the details of this show. And leading up to my next question, actually, before I get there, can you or me or Allan ask the question? We got a little air blowing at us here? Does everybody hear us okay? Is the audio okay? Let us know.
Yeah.
But while you're thinking about that, the question I have for Allan, really is more of a personal one for me, but I think you guys can all you'll know where I'm at with this because I don't know why I like this guy so much. I don't know if you guys have ever asked yourself, like, why do we like this guy so much? It's just, I traveled across the country the first time. I remember reaching out to Allan the first time. I sent him a message on, thanks for the all good on there, Becky. I sent him a message and I says, hey, look, if you guys don't mind, what I do for a living has to do with, a little bit of photo and video stuff. My wife and I would love to come out. And I did not expect to get a reply. And not only did I get a reply, I learned what I know now about this man, how generous he is with his time. And you already asked the question. I wonder, why are you so generous with your time? I mean, I see this now. like I watch him over and over and over. All I want to do is have a camera with me all the time and just follow him around, because he gives of his time to all these people, and we're all filled with hope now because we got this beautiful thing that's called XRP. We got this other thing he's shoving down our throats called Bitcoin, and we're trying to stomach it. No,
Yeah.
which I'm appreciating the education. But I want to move to your wife. So when we got to XRP Vegas, I was so honored to be there with him and to shoot XRP Vegas 2 years ago. I got to meet Elizabeth. And when I saw her, she was in this black dress. My wife, beautiful soul inside and out. But we walked up to Elizabeth, and I thought, oh my God, this woman is gorgeous. I mean, she's absolutely beautiful. So Allan, I got to ask you, what did you do? Like how did you pull this off? What can you share with us? I know this isn't XRP. This isn't crypto. But what did you say? What was the first thing that you did to get this attention, or you out?
It's too crazy one, but we met, and as you probably still hear us.
Yeah.
So we met at a bar, we met at a pub, and everything was going great. I was with another day, and she said, "Oh," and this gal gets up off the bar, and she starts coming towards us, and she says, "Oh, hey, here's my friend Allan." And the moment I got up from the bar and down was, I knew that moment.
Really, right then?
Right then there. And I just said,
this is a love at first sight thing?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. We should have a great...
Crazy.
You're buffering a little.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anyway, I know you can hear us, so we're going to go keep flying. You don't need to see a couple old guys on the screen anyway. Well, so Elizabeth and I met that way, and then I couldn't find her. Like I thought, well, the other girl and I were on the way out anyway. We're just kind of good friends and whatnot. And I tried to find Elizabeth for the longest time, and then I couldn't get her number. I never got her number. Couldn't find her, and then I saw her again. And then that time I basically said, well, I don't care what happens. I'm just going to walk up to her. And so anyway, we've been together ever since.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So a true love story.
Totally.
I'm just learning that. I did not. We're not rehearse these questions or anything like that. It's just things we're thinking of here. But that is really. I wish Elizabeth was here. I would like to hear her side of this.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more to that story.
Yeah,
but
sure there is.
She is beautiful inside and out, and I'm so fortunate. She's so talented. Like, her talents are just way up the charts.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So I'm just fortunate, and we make people tell us all the time, "Oh, you're a power couple," and I didn't really know what that meant. I was like, "What does that mean?
Yeah.
Is that I guess that's a compliment."
Oh,
I guess,
yeah.
You know? But and then as time went on, I was like, "Well, I know she is, but who's this guy?" Yeah, you know how it is. You're always harder on yourself.
I wish I could say what she said to me at your party, but I don't know if it's appropriate here. But I love the words that came out of her mouth at that party. Anyway, she's
my wife will tell you what she's thinking. She's not sugarcoating much.
She does.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to XRP, crypto, I don't know about you guys, but like, it's one of the things in life that's so important is to have hope, and I think all of us have our stories, what we've been through. It seems like a lot of things are very challenging. You meet someone like Allan, it brings hope to your life, right? You find out about crypto, you find out about XRP, and this is just one area. We were talking about this tonight. Like, what happens when we do have all this money? When what we know is going to happen is going to happen because of this coin, and maybe one other one. Too technical about Bitcoin tonight, but no. I love that we have the hope. And I love that Allan has decided to share his time with us like this, So I know, Allan, if you could pick one thing, like one really important thing to share with us with the side of hope, with everything you know about crypto and finances and all of that, the reason why maybe you turn this computer on, I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you say to us to keep us hopeful, to encourage that even more before we get the money, much less if we get it, right?
Well, that's an easy one for me, but I have like 5 answers to that question, so I'll just try and keep this brief. I've seen opportunities in my lifetime, my whole life, and for whatever the reason, I'm the guy that gets opportunities thrown in his lap. But I've never seen one better than this. I just never have. And I'm not just talking about monetarily. I'm talking about we're reinventing money for humanity, mankind globally. It's not like, oh, America came up with this great idea for crypto. They're global. And it's touching everybody all at the same time. I don't know if you guys remember when cell phones came out, it was really a North America thing, and then it spread from there, right? And this is global all at the same time. In fact, some of the poor nations, if you will, understand it better than the Americans do, or, the wealthier nations. That's a ground up thing that I've never seen before. I've never seen anything like that before. Like, usually Wall Street gets everything, they hoard it all, and then they sell it to us. It's just kind of been the other way around. And I don't know. You can reinvent internet. You can reinvent phone systems, which is pretty much what we did. Communications is what I meant. You can reinvent mail by email. We're reinventing money and the value of money. And how important is that to all mankind going forward? It's really bigger than all of us in crypto. And when you reinvent money and you're part of the process and you're part of the original investors, not only are you going to financially be rewarded, like the people that created the internet, the people that created cell phones and the rest of it, you're going to be part of the process to the point where by the holding of those coins, by the knowing that you own part of the company, the solution, and you can hand it to your grandkids, this is going to be very important for generations to come. And I think we all understand that more now than ever before. But in particular, the great, incredible news that we get almost every single day now. Have you noticed every day there's a fundamentally great story that comes out about crypto and the banking system and who's adopting it, who's next. So I don't know how hopeful that is, but I can't imagine investing in anything more important other than maybe water and food for mankind. Yeah.
Wow.
More important than fuel, for sure. Because the calculation of your efforts is really important to the future of mankind. Yeah. In my opinion.
You have such a way of making things simple and easy to understand. That's one of the things I know I really appreciate about you, because as we all know, I think, and by the way, Ohio, XRP Ohio, did you tell her you were rich? I can't. that was good.
Yeah.
And Becky, hopefully we're not buffering as much anymore. Let us know if we are.
Yeah.
But that's a good one, XRP Ohio. But he has a way of explaining things in a way. Becky, I'm sorry you got that migraine going on. Shoot. But he has a way of making things so simple to understand that I like, because I don't know if all of you are in the same position I'm in. It's like sometimes you feel like you're the crazy one with your family or your friends, and you're like, I don't know how to explain this. And I know Allan's done it, but I want to really nail him to the wall on this right now with the question I have, because I think it will help us all so much just to really pinpoint this, to go overly simple, because we know this is going to change people's lives. We know that. I think we all believe it in our heart and souls, no matter what. So how do we? I tell my dad, don't worry about this up and down number. Don't worry. I want it to go up too. And I want to ask Allan so bad. It's like my joke question is, Allan, tell us when this number is going to go up. Okay, I want to know. I'd like to know I'd like to know $8. I want to know, and I know he knows. But I'm not going to ask that question. I'm not going to do it. But what I would like to know is how do we get these people to hear us without sounding crazy? What do we say? What do you do to make them listen? Or we just give up?
Well,
Thanks, Becky.
I've always led by example. That's really the best way. When you try and tell somebody, hey, don't do this, it's kind of in the back of their mind that's what they want to do. If you notice that with your children. But for me, I don't try and convince them of anything anymore. I just simply say, I don't try to be rude, hey, good luck, have fun staying poor. You could say that a lot.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing, but everybody says it in crypto.
Isn't that a Bitcoin phrase?
Yeah, it's a Bitcoin thing. Yeah. But the thing for me is when you're sitting down and you have to make sure that it's quick. You can't get in a long drawn out thing, and you have to thanks for the compliment, by the way, Ron. Somebody told me a long time ago that if you can say something in a few words and make everybody understand it, that's a sign of knowledge of that subject, a high level of knowledge about that subject. So I mentioned something today, and I'm going to repeat it now. The most important thing when teaching somebody about crypto, okay, is two things. Number one, like my video the other day, if you're saving money in fiat, how has that worked out for you? Number one, how is that working out for you?
Too good.
And everybody has been told a lie, and the lie is everything's getting more expensive. That's a lie. Money is becoming more worthless. That's the answer. That's the reality. Okay, so that's your best starting point. And once you can get them to understand that, that's big, but that's really difficult. So my favorite one that I talk about a lot on this show is this. If you're going to buy crypto, I don't care how much you buy of it, try to hold it at least 2 to 4 years and set a date on a calendar. Do not simply watch the price.
That's easier said than done.
It is easier said than done. Okay.
I tried it.
But if you can commit to 4 years, or 2 years, or whatever you can get them to commit to, doesn't matter. Just make sure you don't need this money for 4 years. And I guarantee you it'll be the best investment you've ever made in your life. That's something that really they can resonate with that. But the third thing I'm going to give on that, and it's very simple, and I talked about this today too at lunch. Whatever you do when you buy this crypto, whatever number you buy it at, you are not, if it's $2.50 today, XRP, you are not ever allowed to sell it for $2.49. Period. You're not allowed to do that. And that's what every human being who thinks they know how to invest does. Oh, it's going down. I should get out and cut my losses. Wrong product to do that with. Apple was the wrong product to do that with. Amazon was the wrong product to do that with. All your tech companies all had 90% pullbacks. This tech is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. So in a nutshell, those three things, I know I didn't explain that very concise, but those three things are very important to get to somebody. If you can get them to understand the value of money is declining, the value, not the price is always $1, but the value is leaking out the back. And, there's a million examples. I mean, Motel 6 comes to mind, right? It used to be $6 a night. That's why it's called.
Is that why it was called Motel 6?
Motel 6 was $6 a night.
Oh.
Did the Motel 6 get better? Is it 1,000 times better?
No.
No, it's 1,000 times more expensive.
Yeah.
Why? It's not more expensive. The value is 1,000 times less value. Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the things I'll say is XRP is designed to move money. It's like the railway for the train and all that. But isn't it more than that?
Yes, it is.
How do you explain that?
That's a tough one. You're not going to do that at a barbecue the first time you're talking to them. But you could explain to them how credit cards work. They kind of get that. They got that. Or a Cash App or Venmo or whatever they might have. And you go, okay, how does Venmo work? They go, okay, PayPal. How does PayPal work? And a simple way to put it to them is just imagine the future of PayPal or Venmo, only it's safer, faster, and you can own that company. You can't own PayPal, you can't own Venmo, but you can own XRP, which is a better company than either one of those two. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You have the opportunity to be an original owner of PayPal today.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it to them. Then they'll be like, what do you mean I get to own it? Well, you not only get to own the company of PayPal, the transaction of PayPal is what you own. And to explain that to them is very complicated, but in a simple manner, you can just tell them it's sort of just like the same way a credit card works. Only twice as fast, it happens in seconds, and we're going to eliminate the middleman. And they go, okay, what's a middleman? Well, the middleman's pretty simple to explain, but somebody's taking profit in between you and trading your money. That's why there's an expense to trading money. And if you can get that clear in their head, like, why are we paying $7 trillion in transaction fees annually around the world? We need to get rid of that. Well, how do we do that? We do that with XRP. One of the coins that we're going to do that with is XRP. So explaining that to them is not day one. It's a lot more complicated. I say this a lot. You have no idea how much you know. I don't care if you're like Mike, who's only been investing in XRP for, I don't know, 6 months, a year, or whatever he told us today. You have absorbed way more about crypto than you even can imagine. You know more than you think you do. And you get it. They don't yet. But when they get it, when their light bulb moment comes off, it's not going to be because you explained it to your brother-in-law. It's going to be because they took an interest, they participated, and they said, okay, I'm going to go search out on my own. You, again, just like your kids, you can't tell your kids not to do something or to do something. That's the last thing they're going to want to do. People have to discover things for themselves. The best thing to do, if they don't listen and you really want to help them in life, for instance, your father, set up a wallet and put the money aside for them. Or ask them, hey, do you have $100 a month? I'll put it away for you, and you can ask me about it in 2 years or 4 years. Or simply invest for them like you did with your employees last week you were telling me about.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, really neat thing you just did.
Yeah. No, that was fun. I couldn't, and they're contractors. I don't have employees, but anyway, a little point, whatever. But the I don't like the boss. I don't like the boss employee thing. I don't like that.
You said that because you're trying to avoid the taxation.
Yeah, okay, then we'll go with that. I'm not smart enough for all this, guys. I'm a very, very surface person. But like when I met Sean, and of course, I love your son to death. Brent is amazing. I don't know if he's in here or not, but he is. Just to see your relationship, I think a lot of us really enjoy that. But I got a chance to meet Sean, the legend. This guy is just freaking amazing. But I love the heart and soul of the XRP community, the XRP family. I'm looking so forward to being with you guys in South Florida together, but we have a good time. The heartbeat of this show, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place as I just went from one spot to another, but I was telling Allan today, like, well, I'm not going to compare shows because that wouldn't be the right thing. I'm going to, like Allan says, look, I'm not going to mention anything that happened. I'm not even going to say it happened out west this year. All I'm going to say is the heartbeat of any convention, of any show that you go to comes down to one person. And when you go to that event, be it religious, it could be political, it could be anything you want it to be. In this case, an XRP show. That person that's running the show, that's going to be the feel of this show. And every YouTuber out there is going to be knocking his door down to come to this. I know it. He's very humble about it and all of this, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? And we love that about him. I was going to a question. I really was. I was going to a question. But I love the fact that we have Brent in our life, that we have Sean in our life. We got all you guys. Becky, I've seen you once or twice. I'm personally not allowed to comment anymore on their live streams or anything. It's but I'm there. I'm there. Technology gets the best of us. We'll figure this thing out
Ron got
eventually.
himself banned somehow. We can't figure it out.
I got myself banned.
Yeah.
But
That's hilarious.
I appreciate that explanation. But I had my guys. I asked the guys that work with me. I gave them each $100, and I said, "Look, this is a loan. I'm going to give you a loan for 12 months. You guys got to give me this $100 back on June 29th next year, if it is worth 10 times more than what I gave you. But you have to download." I told them Uphold. That's just what I decided to tell them. Download Uphold, buy XRP, give it back to me in a year, only if it's worth 10 times more. But I wanted to encourage them to look into it. And not just XRP, crypto in general. I mean, crypto is, it's just, I don't know why everybody doesn't get it. It's like, I don't get it. And
it's complicated.
I've totally lost the question I'm going towards. But I'm just glad to know
more
this guy.
That's the problem.
And I can't wait for you guys to see what he's got going on. Stuff I'm not know if I'm allowed to talk about, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I'm so freaking excited for this show, guys. And I'm not even supposed to be publicizing, I guess. But
yeah, you can.
I can.
You can talk about it.
Okay, good. But we're like at my house. I have Allan Staple at my house right now. I cannot be more excited. I cannot.
He's
be
got
more
a
excited.
gorgeous house here, by the way.
Yeah,
that's a tree fort in the front yard. It's all landscaped. This is a bar.
Yeah, it's in a
really
bar.
Neat.
But all right, so I want to ask you, Allan.
Yeah.
Since you claim not to be rich, and somehow or another this hot girl just decided to be with you, right? Because you're poor. When you do have money, if not if, I know these things are going to happen, but what is it that you guys are we stay invested, we do things. I know you got plans for us. You're not going to let us lose our money and all this. You're going to help us out, and we need you for that. We appreciate it. But what's a big deal to you? What are you looking forward to?
I know this sounds really corny, but what you and I are planning, I really
meetups,
networking, meeting people who follow my channel. I'm a people person.
Oh yes, he is.
I don't even really. I don't care about the money. I know that sounds really weird, but it's complicated because I've always been this person, so I don't even understand how to explain who I am because it's just who I am. I'm not trying to be somebody or be somebody else. If I'm just being Allan, and that's what Allan is. But if I had to put it into words, if I had all the money in the world, I would probably do what you and I are planning. This is why I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now, is we're planning an event at a facility that you are all going to be invited to attend. It's going to be, in my opinion, something very special. And when you get there, you're going to have that feeling of how special it is.
Yes.
And it's going to be content providers that I actually approve of. They get the staple stamp of approval. And I'm going to hand pick the people that I would like you to learn from, to understand, see what's really in their heart, and see who they really are, and understand that they're more important than just a person behind the screen. They're actually somebody that's in the boat with you, and they care about your success. I've met a bunch of people in YouTube. I bet probably 20 or 30 people that have YouTube channels, and no exaggeration, at least. There's about five that have a heart of gold, at least bigger than all the compliments Ron has been giving me tonight. They are the real deal. And you have to come to the show to figure out who they are. I'm going to announce who they all are. They haven't all committed to me yet. But I really think it's so much bigger. I told I was at a meetup with a bunch of people that 007 had, Rob, love your brother. He had this meetup, and I was telling people out in the parking lot, it had to be 6 or 8 of us out there, and we're talking till midnight out there. And I told him, I said, what's really important about our community is sharing. But it's very difficult for a content provider to actually share with you because I'm speaking into a camera, and it's very frustrating. I want to meet you, I want to talk with you personally, and I want to get the emotion that I get from you, not just a camera lens. Right. So when we have that in person, there's something very magical, spiritual, whatever you'd like to call it. It's important and it's palpable. Human beings need that and want that. That's who I am. I want that. So for selfish reasons, I anticipate no matter how wealthy I become, I'll be doing this the rest of my life. And that's something that, for me, there's people in this room right here that are bigger than just a friend. Like, you people mean a lot to me. And I think you already know that, Ron. And it's, when people call me on the phone and I'm on the phone with them for an hour, they're like, oh my God, you must be busy to do something. Well, what's more important than talking to you right now? And like, well, I don't know, but you should think of something. But it's like, we're in this together and we're going to succeed together. But it financially is one thing, but it's no fun being wealthy or well-to-do or getting it right or nailing the trade and doing it alone. Nobody wants to do that. So come down to South Florida. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you'll see over the next few months, I'm going to really let the cat out of the bag as to what I have planned and who's coming. And the people that I'm going to invite, they'll be there for a very good reason. They won't be there because they're there to sell you something or sell their channel or promote themselves in any way. They're already promoting themselves. They're going to be there because they want to be with people. In other words, they're not invited. It's pretty simple.
So you always have these juicy things, like these little secrets or these things you got tucked away in the back of your mind that sometimes you forget. Currently, like right now, like, you see what's happening today. It's an exciting day today. We love when we see the number going up. I don't know what's going on because I've been spending the whole day with Allan today. I don't know why the number's going up today. But other than that, what is there anything that you'd like to just throw at us that keeps us going or, excited? And I don't know, any little juicy little secrets you want to share?
I talk about I beat around the bush about this a lot, but I know it to be true now. Wall Street's in a lot of trouble. I know it, none of us feel sorry for them whatsoever, but their commissions and their spreads and the money that they're making off other people is done for. They're in trouble. Those people that are making money off of your money, you're going to make money off your money. You're going to make money off your tokens. There is no middleman anymore. That's exactly what crypto is no middleman. We don't need it anymore. We don't even need a bank account. Most people don't know that. You don't need a bank account in this world that we're heading into. So that $7 trillion that I was talking about is going to be going to you. They know that. They've known that for a long time. Why do you think they fought us so hard in the courts? Why have they fought us? Why have they trashed? Even Bitcoin's been trashed, thrown through the media for 15 years. Oh, only thieves and murderers and, money launderers, support that network. When in your lifetime have you ever seen a technology be treated like a stepchild? Ever. Never. It's always adopted because it makes them money. That's why cell phones and internet and all the rest of that blew up, because people were going to make a lot of money on it. The system was going to make a lot of money on it. There's no room, there's no fat in the equation now for the crypto equation. It's slivers, tiny little slivers. But it can only be done with volume. But they finally found a way, and they said, oh, okay, so we're going to trim our commissions down, but here's what we need. We need our crypto accounts to be massive. Well, you ask, well, why is that, Allan? Well, because currently they're pretty small, right? But what happens with JP Morgan or somebody like that? And they have, would you rather have $1 billion under roof or $1 trillion under roof? But the answer is pretty simple on that one, right? They're going to want $1 trillion under roof, under house. Well, why? Well, because you can hold crypto for nothing. You don't even need an armed guard. You can hold it on your data bank and you can secure it, and custodians are simple and free, right? Yet they're still going to be able to charge you a sliver for storage fee or commission, and they charge 2, 3, 4% annually today. But start thinking about what is the equation in there. Oh, wait a minute. It's only Bitcoin's $2 trillion. What happens when it's 20? What happens when it's 200? What happens when it's a quadrillion? They figured that out and they said, oh, we've been holding the retail price back from this thing. Why? Because it was competing with those products that was stealing from the people. That's why I said Wall Street's in a lot of trouble. But they figured a way out. And the way out is in volume and mass and numbers, big numbers. What does volume and mass and big numbers mean to you and I being coin holders? It's massive. They blew the real estate bubble. Massive. Why? Because the more the house is worth, the more they get money they get to loan, the more commission, the more interest they make, right? What else they get? The more tax revenue. All of that made sense for them. But now it's too expensive for the young people to buy these houses, so we got to blow a new bubble. You're the new bubble. You are the new bubble. And the cash of the world is coming to what you own. And that's not even maybe anymore. So all the really good fundamental news that we've all had over the last couple of weeks in particular, especially for XRP the last few days, about them becoming a bank, about them becoming a brokerage. Why do you think Hidden Road wants? Do you understand what you own? You own the product that the people that own Hidden Road want to promote. They're promoting you, what you own. That doesn't happen, guys. That doesn't happen. It's sort of like this. Does, I don't know, any brokerage, Merrill Lynch, do they promote the employees of Google? No. They promote the stock, the value of the stock. They don't promote the use case of it, the lending of it, the commissions from it, the borrowing of it. All of this is going to be coming into places like Hidden Road, and that's going to come back to you because they're going to use what you own to do those transactions and to secure those trades. See, I've never heard of anything like that. The value of all the money in the world is coming to crypto. Period. Quadrillions, not trillions. So, and you're part of that. And nobody's ever been able to own part of the success of mankind. And like I talk about all the time, it's generational. Look how many generations own crypto. All of them. They're all going to get well-to-do all at the same time. But yet, still helping the poor around the world because of the transactions for new upstart companies and people around the world that don't have a lot of money are not going to be violated by, what was it, Bolivia came out with their 40% interest rate. Well, no wonder they adopted Bitcoin to back their currency. No wonder. 40%? Their inflation's 40%, and they'll give you, if you'll put money in the Bolivian banks, they'll give you a 40% interest rate. That's how corrupted fiat is. And you and I know that, but you need to hear it a couple times to really, really understand where we're at in the world and why it's happening. So that's why this man is bullish. And I just wish I was 25 instead of 65. Because this is going to take a while, but it's going to be, it's a slow moving train that is speeding up, and we all feel it. And the fundamental news every day is out there. You hear it more every day. So, yeah.
I'll tell you, it's one thing watching you on the TV do this, but in person is another. I don't smoke, but now I feel like I want a cigarette after that. No, this is why we love you, man. He's not even rehearsed this stuff. It just comes out of his soul. I don't know where you draw this stuff from, but it's amazing. I was having a hard time breathing through it. Anyway, thank you for being here. I know you got so much more to say. I'm so unqualified for this whole situation, but
no, you're perfectly qualified. You're the people that watch my videos.
We love you to death, man. We love you to death.
Thanks, man.
And it's so funny right now. But if these people could see what I see off on this side, I'm looking in the house at these guys in the house watching us on the TV. So Right, Mike, if you hear me, just
That's
wave at me.
classic. Here he is. Get in here, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah,
Say
we
hello,
got check.
everybody.
Kenny,
Come on.
Kenny, come over here.
Oh, Kenny, sorry.
This is so Kenny's with us.
This is Kenny.
This guy has got more money than both of us put together.
Yep.
Most eligible bachelor. I don't even know if you are.
He's not an eligible bachelor. No, he's
Happily
not.
married,
No.
bunch of kids, grandkids.
But, oh yeah, that's right. You got like 21 grandkids.
21 grandkids.
Wow, that's crazy.
This is family
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we got Mike coming over here.
Come on, Mike.
And he's
Yes.
he's
Sweetest
XRP
guys, man.
Renegade, right?
Yeah, this guy right here.
XRP
Yeah.
Renegade, and Mike is what's your online name?
Ain't got one.
I don't have one yet.
What?
I
No
gotta
online?
make one.
No
We'll
online?
just call you Mike.
Yeah,
Just call me Mike.
Yeah, let's go with
I'm
Mike.
happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Good to have you both.
Great
And
guy right here.
We had I don't
Great
know
guys. Both of them.
8 or 10 of us at lunch, something like that.
Oh yeah.
Great
Eight
time.
or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah.
We had a blast. They never let me shut up.
Continue on, brothers.
All right, guys. Thanks, man.
We're watching you on TV.
Yeah, it's so. This is guys. This is so weird, and it really is. This is weird. I don't know how Brent does it. Like, of course, this is Dad, so I guess it's a different story. Brent's probably working or something. I don't know what he's doing, but I'd love to hear his feedback right now.
Yeah.
But
This is my hobby. I mean, I've studied money my whole life. I've told this story before, but I'll go into it real quick. I was the geek in junior high school that had the Wall Street Journal under his arm. I was that guy. And I loved how money worked and the economy and what's going on. And then what happened to me was along about my mid-20s, I started figuring out what Keynesian meant. And I went, wait a minute. None of us have to live our lives in a Keynesian economics theory. We have to have Austrian economics, real money, sound money. We have to make money and spend money and save money. That's sound money. Keynesian economics was a theory. That was his thesis in university. And the bankers loved it so much they thought, well, let's adopt that. But even, what was his name, Bernard Keynes, right? Even he said, this thing's going to blow, it's not meant to do this. Don't use it. It's a theory that I wrote in high school or in college, in university. And we made a system out of it, and it's going to pop. And it's going to pop because of crypto. It's not going to pop because of gold. It's not going to pop because of real estate. It's going to pop because of crypto. Because like my last video was talking about, Ron really mentioned this, and it was a point that I kind of threw in the middle of the video, but it's so important. What are you saving in?
yeah, that's great. That was great.
Are you saving in cash?
Right.
Their cash is trash. You're in trouble.
Yes, it's
Losing money. You are losing money in
I
that.
don't know. We go trash. I wouldn't mind cash. I'd take some cash.
The only reason why money has any value at all is because the people that don't know anything about economics still believe it has value. It's a brainwashing. And that's the only reason, period. The bottom rung of society will do those crappy jobs for money. That's the only thing keeping this thing afloat. And they're just not smart enough or don't have an avenue out. Now they do. And they're going to figure it out. But again, like I was talking about lunch today, they're not going to figure it out until the price goes through the moon. And then they go, I got to buy that. Honey, well, let's get a bunch of that. Let's save some money and let's buy a bunch of crypto now. Unfortunately, that's how that goes. Yeah.
Dude, one of the things you said to me, I just got to mention, it keeps coming in my mind, is you use Bitcoin as an example, but it was like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, you could buy a house, I think it 500 Bitcoin or 5,000, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And now that house that might have been, I don't know, $100,000 is worth $1 million. And now that $1 million house you could buy for 10 or 9. We're getting down to about 9 Bitcoin as of today.
Yeah.
And yet it would have take $1 million today, but it only took $100,000 10 years ago. It took less Bitcoin. And I was like, Bitcoin. My mind, it blew my mind. If that doesn't say the power of crypto in general, I don't know. I don't know how many more examples, but that was amazing. I love that example.
And when you show somebody that chart on paper, or a graph, the dollar's going down,
Well, that's a great idea.
right? And it's costing you fewer and fewer Bitcoin every year for that same house, but the house is going up in value and price, in fiat price. You see those two together and they go like that. They just cross. One's going down and the other one's going up, and they're crossing in the night. And more banks, more and more people, more and more investors, more and more people are understanding, I got to get out of the dollar. How do I do that? I got to find gold. I got to find silver. I got to find even real estate. They've got to find something to get out of that fiat.
Yeah. And
when you study people like a brilliant man, a lot of people like him, but Michael Saylor, he woke up one day and said, well, I made $200 million this quarter. Tell me why I should put that in the bank. He asked his accountants, and they're like, well, you could buy gold. So he asked his attorney, and the attorney goes, oh, gold's not doing great. He says, what else do we got? And his accountant's like, have you looked at Bitcoin? I just looked at the chart. No, well, I heard about it. I heard it's a scam. I heard it's a Ponzi scheme. I heard it's whatever, So
he said that, you think?
Oh, yeah, he did. I've seen him say it.
Really?
Yeah. He didn't know. Everybody says everything's a scam when they don't know anything about it.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of us don't truly understand what inflation is. We get caught up on that. To me, that house example was a great example in a way.
Yeah.
I think that helped me out a lot. But
yeah. Inflation does not. I use this. This is a very, very good way to look at inflation. Inflation is not when China charges you more for whatever the object is that you purchase. That's price increase. Okay? Inflation only can happen one way. They made more dollars than there was before. There's only one mechanism to inflation: monetary inflation. That only one mechanism is making dollars that didn't exist before. But the system is based upon that. They tell you, oh, if we could just get to 2% inflation, oh, we're happy. Well, what does 2% inflation mean? That means in 50 years, you've lost 100% of your value. Well, why do they want you to lose everything your grandpa made in his lifetime? Well, does that even make sense? No. But they've sold everybody now. And they say, oh, well, we're going to help the poor out by printing more money. No, you're making the poor more poor. That's what that's doing. Everything goes up because they printed more of these things, so they became less valuable. It's a concept that once you understand, you will live your life in crypto. And I'm living more of my life in crypto than I ever have before. I want to be 100% in crypto. I'm not even close, but I'm getting there. It's a goal of mine. No way we have Miss Melody in the house. Oh my God, girl, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you? This lady right here. Okay, not that Julie isn't a saint and everybody in here isn't a sainthood, because I know most of you are. Because of whatever the reason, Ron and I were talking about this in the car today. For whatever the reason, people are drawn to XRP, but I mean many channels, not just my channel, and they're incredible people when you get to meet them. This lady, man, she works with challenged children, and she lives right down the hill from me, and she's an amazing lady, and she's I would like her to be a better friend of mine than she is, and we live so close together. I know she has kids and we're very busy, but she lives right down the hill from me. An amazing lady. And her goal is to build like a village so that these challenged children can actually run their own little village. They can help themselves and inspire other parents to do the same and create more villages. Anyway, love you, girl. She's awesome. A good one. Yeah, we'll meet up soon. I'm on the other coast. Cisco's in the house. We got the real Carlos. Nancy, love you, girl. So Nancy bought some MSTY. Good for you, Nancy. This was a low month for MSTY. So it only made almost 6%. That's a bad month for MSTY.
That's exciting what you're talking about the gains that you can make monthly. I mean, frankly, it's tough to believe, but I mean, I believe you, but it's even tough to grasp the idea. I mean, you're talking about a low month at 5%. I mean, anybody do basic math, you're about 60% in a year. At that point, we're supposed to turn the channel. This guy is crazy.
Yeah. Okay. You know how we've been told in crypto for a decade now that volatility, it's so volatile. Oh my God, it's volatile. When you have a trading bot, volatile means what? Profit.
Yeah.
The more it moves, I mean, it's not hard to guess a trade when it goes from 50 to 60 in 10 minutes and keeps going to 70 and then 80 and then stops at 80 and goes the other way. That volatility of all that many points, it's easy to jump on that ride and take it for 10 or 15 points. And it goes the other way. Okay, now let's go the other way on the channel, and then we can trade it all the way down. When you can trade that with the leverage that these people trade with, yields of 20 and 30% a month is simple for them. It's a bot doing all the work 24/7. Okay? And they have a pure connection to capital. That capital is MicroStrategy. Well, he created that high yield account, MSTY. Y is the yield in MicroStrategy. So all they're doing is trading the vol, what we call in trading vol, the volatility. The more volatility, the more profit you can pull out in the middle, the fat in the center. The more that happens, the more you're going to make on your MSTY. So there wasn't a lot of volatility these last 30 days. So we didn't make as much profit. If Bitcoin goes, or it's the whole market now, because we have NFTs coming to all the coins now. But if it goes sideways, you're not going to make a lot of money now. So you say, well, okay, well, what could happen to my capital, Allan? What could happen to me in a bad month? Well, the worst month is it doesn't move at all. It's almost impossible for 30 days. But doesn't move at all means what? You didn't lose any principal. You just didn't make any money on your money. That's all. That's your downside risk. The other downside risk is if you just bought MSTR instead of MSTY, if your product doubles, in other words, XRP goes to $5 from here, that's a 100% increase. You've doubled. You could have made 100% on your money that month. But you really, even with that much volatility with MSTY, you're only going to make 10, 15%. So you're down 85% if you had held MSTY or XRP. Does that make sense? You're trading volatility. The more it moves, the more money they make. The more they can pay you because they're making 20 or 30%. And they go, okay, well, we're going to give them 70% of the profit or 50% of the profit. And that's how they pay you so much per month.
I can't wait to do this. I'm looking. That sounds good.
There's
looking forward
so
to that.
many great products out there, guys. That's just the only one I can recommend because it's Wall Street paper. It's you can get a Merrill Lynch and just buy it. It's that's where we're at in the world right now. But I have many other products that I'm playing around with. For instance, those bots that are trading made 20% on that volatility. There's no reason why you and I can't trade a bot. It just takes good money management. And when you have decent money management, you can make all that volatility for yourself instead of having to split it with people. Yeah. Nice. We got Jack from Down Under. Right on. Must be late there, brother. Late or early? It's late, isn't it? Gee, I don't know. I can't do that math. What else we got? Cisco. Yeah, you can make your original investment back in a year. I don't recommend this product for the reason I just told you, unless you're somebody who's got quite a bit of capital and you want to deploy 25% of it to make some income, monthly income. I would not rely on paying my mortgage with whatever that is, if that makes sense. Don't try and quit your job and live off MSTY on monthly income. Because eventually the volatility will slow down in the market.
Hey, Northern. It's good to see you.
We got Northern in the
Yeah.
house. Love it. I brought my Northern shirt too. I just didn't wear it tonight.
It's so cool getting to know some of these people. And so you see these names on the screen, but that is the cool thing about these meetups. It's like it's gonna be so weird for all of us to start. You see these names on the screen, you're putting faces and personalities to it, and it's special.
It is. Yeah.
It is special.
Just imagine being Zach or Allan or Dave, and what that means to you. Like a lot of people. And I'm not bagging on anybody. I'm not trying to throw anybody. But just imagine being somebody that likes meeting people. And yet you have 25,000 subscribers. And there's 116 people in live chat right now. And like every one of the 116 people would like, hey, where are you going to be? Okay, you're right down the street from my house. Man, that'd be great. I'd love to have a coffee with you, Allan. Can you imagine being the person that wants to have the coffee with you? Yet I have 25,000 people that would like to do that. Like, that's a special place for some. Not all people want that. Like, it's funny. I'm not bagging on my wife at all, but she's not that much of a. She's more of a private person. She's not as outgoing, or she's outgoing, but she's not. She likes her peace and her quiet. Me, these guys will vouch for me.
Pull them away from everybody.
I'll talk to the maitre d' for an hour and a half. Just trying to get a table for the night because I like people. And people ask me the strangest questions, and people always say, "Allan, where did you get that concept from? Like, how did you put that math together? I've never heard anybody explain it to me like that before. I get it through simple logic, that old doctorate degree I've got from, the School of Hard Knocks. Some people listen, and some people just go life thinking they have all the answers. But if you're a good listener, anybody can teach you anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what I really like. That's why, believe it or not, I love talking with people. I don't let them talk enough, but I love talking to people because they give me perspective and balance, and it's so good. I don't need to convince anybody on this channel. I think everybody has that figured out. What do you think of the security layers such as SQ, HRM as an answer? Okay. Security is going to be a thing of the past here pretty quick. I wish it was yesterday, but it's not. But security is coming. Because what's coming, remember a few moments ago when I was talking about Wall Street's in a lot of trouble? They're in trouble because they have to completely become a chameleon and change who they were. Well, if they change who they were, that's profitable for you and I because we own crypto, right? As I explained. But what's beautiful about what they're doing is they're going from that old archaic banking system and they're adopting cryptography, which is 10 times more secure and safer. But they're going to be able to offer it to everybody, grandma, grandkids, everybody. And the safety and security is coming to all of us because we're just going to be able to send money just like it was a text. Look how safe texts are. Look how safe email is. Safe email, believe it or not, one of the safest things there is to do is email. Like, it's tough to crack somebody's email because it's so simple. Well, when we can do that with crypto, there's going to be no stopping. Yeah. Love that.
4 years,
Great
crypto
question.
Ohio. 4 years. I started buying XRP 4 years ago. And had no idea who Allan was at the time. I met Allan on the Zach Rector show. I heard the Bob story and I was just blown away. You guys haven't heard that. But yeah.
I still talk to Bob's sons. Bob had a stroke,
Oh,
COVID related.
when? Recently?
21,
Well,
the end of 21.
Hmm.
Yeah, sad but true. Anyway, so he doesn't talk on the phone much. His wife called me one time. I'm just going through his phone, just telling everybody what happened to Bob. And she called me one afternoon. And I will just say they're quite well to do. And what happened to him, I don't want to get too controversial on here, but it was just 10 days after he had shots. I'll just leave it at that. He was flying to France, and he couldn't go to this convention without having these series of shots that may not have happened back 21. And 10 days later, he had a stroke. You can determine whatever you determine from that. I'm not a doctor. I just play a crypto trader on TV.
Yeah.
I don't play a doctor.
Atlantic's asking about your vision for this thing. Breakup rooms all together, casual business.
Oh, for this event
Yeah.
that we're going to do? Yeah. All the above.
All of that.
I plan on having people who, like I mentioned earlier, care about people and they want to give you the time of day. Because I started to tell this part of the story I didn't. When I was at a meetup and I was talking to people in the parking lot late one night, I reminded them how important YouTube channels are. How do I know that? Not because I have a YouTube channel, because I listened to them for 5 years before I had one. I understand the importance and the relevance of what we do on social media. Well, stop and think about it. Let's backtrack a little bit. Are you buying XRP because anything Brett Garlinghouse said? Kinda, but he's not who got you into it at all, is he? No. Who got you into it? Zach did. Allan did. Dave did. Whoever. Mikkel. Whoever you follow said, hey, not only did they get you into it, they kept you into it. They kept you from selling it, and they gave you good reasons to do so.
True. That's so
okay.
True.
So those people are really the people that have got you into this boat. And if it's paid off for you, it doesn't have anything to do with the CEO of Link2, or that's a bad example because a lot of people have. That's a topic right now that's a little touchy. But let's say some of the CEOs that typically would be at a convention are going to be up there talking about how cool they are for an hour and a half. And it's like, nobody really wants to hear that. The difference between who those people are, those are corporate people in suits. Zach is the guy next door. I know that because I hang out with Zach. He and I spend a lot of time together. When you understand who the person is, they care about you because they're in the same boat. And they're not just cheerleaders. They spent their life dedicated to figuring out what we need to know, where the dangers are, where the loopholes are, what to look out for, but yet what we should really focus on for your success. He's not successful if you're not successful. Nobody's in it like that. And to be in a room with this terrible term, but content providers, I don't even know what you call them, that has, and it's not celebrity or anything like that. It's like that guy has my interest. He has the same interest I do. He knows a lot about it. I've always asked myself this dumb question, and I'm sick and tired of waiting through 50 YouTube videos to ask the question or to have an answer. I can walk up to Zach at a meetup and say, Zach, remember that time that you talked about this and this and that? I'm trying to paint the picture for you, but does this make sense if I do this with that coin? And he's going to, yeah, that was exactly the point I was trying to get across. It was very difficult for me to portray because I only have 20 minutes on the video every other day, or Zach's case, every day. So you bring out, like all of us, we know way more about crypto than we think we know. But it inspires me when I get to do meetups and meet people how much I know because they draw it out of me. It's like, how do you know that? It's like, well, I've been studying this stuff for 8 years. Like literally day and night. The only time I don't study is when I'm hanging out with you guys doing a meetup. I study a lot, but I don't so much anymore because the concept is proven. I've proven it to myself, and I know that it's going to be successful. So now I really get into how are we going to make money with our money. That's what I really focus on now.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And I do big projects now, really big projects that, I will be sharing with people that are opportunities for all of us, like banks overseas and companies that are, all they do is crypto. And they've hired 50 people that are, really good in the field, and they know exactly what they're talking about. And they're running out and they're getting a banking license, and they're in your state, and they know exactly how to make money with crypto. You don't have to learn how to be a DEX trader. Most of us don't have the time or the patience. Why? When I can just invest my money with a group of people that has my back? The hard part is figuring out who's sincere and who's just the rip-off artist. That's the hard part. And I will tell you, if I can be totally sincere, I've met more channels that are rip-off artists than I have sincere, honest people. And no, I'm not going to give you a list of them. And no, don't ask for it, because you have to figure that out for yourself. But I will tell you, if somebody's blatantly, criminally ripping people off and I hear about it, you will hear about it on this channel. For sure. Yeah. But people don't typically just steal your money because they get arrested for that. What they do is they get you to pump their bags, essentially. There's a bunch of that. A bunch of rug pulls, and I don't want to get into that.
I have one more question.
Only one?
Yeah.
Nice.
When's XRP going to go to $9?
$9. I thought it was $8 earlier. It's getting difficult.
Well, I told you I wouldn't ask you that question.
But
I am curious, and your best guess.
I
know you hate these questions.
I know. I really like what's happening today. I really like the price movement. I think if we can break somewhere right around 280, 290, I think it's going to scream right through 350.
And we're doing that S curve you talked about.
Yeah.
I still have yet to totally understand that.
Do you remember when I talked about on my channel for 2 years? If it ever broke 75 cents, it'd be off to the races.
Yeah, never forgot it. I remember where I was when you said it.
Do you remember the day it broke 75 cents?
Yeah, it
went off to the races.
Right.
Well, that's where we're at now.
And there was supposed to be that steady incline, You don't want it to go up too fast, but
Right. So that's where we're at in that equation. That's all Elliott wave stuff that I studied for many years at Forex, and it projected out. I use a case of 33, and I talked about this when it was 50 cents. 33x is 1550. Right around that area is what I think this move is going to do. Could it go to 30? Of course, with adoption. That's a different equation than technical analysis. So $8, I have no idea. Depends on how quick this money comes into the system. M2's screaming, the dollar's low. If they really drop the interest rates here soon, the sooner Brad opens up the bank, the sooner we start using more of the hidden road opportunities to create products, the sooner they get the there's good and bad with some of these indexes being created with crypto. That XRP is part of a bag of different cryptos that the president's kind of promoting. Those are good and bad in some ways, but ETFs are going to be big. They're going to be very big. I think that ETFs are going to kind of make it go down first. I've talked about that in my videos, and then it will slowly go up on the other side of that. So to answer your question, $8. Let's put it this way.
9.
I'm going to say.
Can it do it before the court case is over?
I don't think that court case has all that much to do with the price right now. I really don't. I know there's a lot of disclosures been signed, and I get all that. All those NDAs. Well, okay. But I'm going to say I'm really looking for the kind of the bull run that we had, say, from like October to January again.
Mhm.
Definitely happening again this year. So from October to January again, I would say, for a lot of financial reasons, corporate financial reasons, getting things off the books before the end of the year, getting things on the books before the end of the year, that kind of thing. Accounting stuff in that sense. But between now and then, I see up. How much? I wouldn't be shocked if we hit $15 by the end of the year. But I also wouldn't surprise me if we don't hit $9 before the end of the year.
Okay.
I know that's a terrible answer, but do I think we're going to stop at 350 this time? No, we're going to blow right through 350. I don't know when, but as soon as you see 280, 290, you need to really start looking. Because once it hits that 340 mark, right in that area, it's going to either have the momentum to push through it, or it's going to bounce off of it, and we're going to have another month or two of waiting. If it blows through the previous all-time high, it's not going to stop before $8 or $10. Those are Elliott waves.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Oak did a better job. He just put September 20th.
Yeah.
I love that. Put the date. Said the day. Oak. The day. September 20th.
Right.
like
yeah,
that.
that's good too. The other thing is
his birthday or her birthday.
You also need Bitcoin to pump. You just do.
Yeah.
Because you need Bitcoin to go to like 150 or 175. And as soon as it tops out, it's just going to all flood into XRP.
It pumped today.
It pumped today. So there you go, guys. Price predictions. I don't like giving them, but there you have it.
Yeah.
It's
I had to
fun.
take
It's
advantage
fun
of
out here. Yeah. Well, Ron, it's been an hour and 16 minutes.
It's a dream. I'm living a dream right now.
Yeah.
I told Allan one of my ideas for the show is I wanted to get a helicopter and have them come down. It'll make sense to you guys later, but have them land in the helicopter and then and I want one guy playing a trumpet. As it goes. My original idea though was a white horse on the beach. I just thought it'd be so fun.
You still don't get me, dude.
No, I
You
don't.
still don't get me.
I don't get it.
I'm just a normal
But,
guy.
yeah, he is a normal guy. That's why I like to mess with him. But anyway, thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, no,
Thank
it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit more real quick before we get out of here about what we're going to do. Yes, it's going to be a meetup. Yes, it's going to be networking. Yes, there's going to be some opportunities there, but it's not why we're getting together. We're getting together because it's cold probably where you are in January, and we're going to get you somewhere warm and somewhere fun, and it's beautiful here. So we're going to get you out of that and get you down here. But more importantly, these are your people. Trust me, I've met you all. I've met thousands of people in the XRP family. Thousands of you. You want to meet these people. You don't want to just meet Allan. You want to meet guys like this guy and guys like these two guys in the other room and Kat, Ron's lovely wife. That's who you want to meet. Why? Because we're all in this together. And I'm no different. I just talk a lot and I have a lot of background about economics, but you can learn so much and you can share your lives and you go, no way. You live right down the street from me. That'll blow your mind. A quick little story before we get out of here. There were, I believe, 3 people, and there's a few Canadians in here. I saw Trini earlier. I don't know if he's still in here. And Northern Living. My wife grew up in a place called Thunder Bay, and there was 3 people from Thunder Bay at our cocktail party at Vegas. Just think about that. My wife was blown away. Like, no way you have another person that grew up in Thunder Bay. Yep. Here they are. Here they are. That's. Can you imagine? Okay, we talked about the show tonight, and then I'll try and get us out of here. What fun is being well off or well to do when all your friends are working 9 to 5, 5 days a week?
Oh yeah.
What good is that to you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna come hang out with Ron. You should see this guy's yard. It's amazing. He has a tree fort right over there. It's awesome. He's got kids running around. We got pizzas. We got dogs. I mean, this is my life. This is what I like. This is what I like doing. I get to go hang out with Kenny, and he's got a bunch of cattle. Not a bunch, but he's got a few cattle. That's who we are. That's what we do. And we get to meet each other and share our lives together. And you have friends. There's nothing like, okay, we love motorhomes. These two guys like motorhomes, and we like going camping, right? Isn't it more fun to meet up with another couple that is at the same park you're at?
Mhm.
Just imagine 20 couples. Way better. Way better. How could you ever do that? I mean, unless you formed a club of some kind. But the problem with the club is what? You've watched 600 of my videos, so you resonate with the way I think, what I believe, and what I'm doing. So clearly we have a lot in common. You meet up with a bunch of people that just happen to have the same motorhome you have. They might have a completely view about money and economy and all that, and argue with you at a campfire about crypto. Think about that. That's big. All right, guys. We're going to get me out of here because I'm going to be talking all day tomorrow, too.
And tonight, the show might end here. But
Yeah.
he never turns off. Like, I want to see him get tired. I'm already like, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
get
Yeah. Well,
the energy this guy's got. It's crazy.
Yeah, I love you.
But anyway,
You guys bring it out of me.
yeah.
All right, guys. Okay, sorry. It was a little different show tonight. No, I'm not sorry about it. I thought it was an incredible show, and I really liked doing this. And this is something I talked about with Brent many, many years ago. I wanted to interview basically everybody in the chat. I even talked about this with Melody a few times. It just never happened. Leanne Braden, amazing. I mean, everybody in here, Atlantic Living, all of you, I would like to do something like this with all of you at one point and another. And if you'll have him, we're going to have Ron back
And it's
again.
pretty easy. I mean, you just got to sit here, start talking. We just listen to him talk, ask him a few questions as they pop up. It's not hard.
Just pull the string in the back.
It's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Okay, guys. I love you all. Thanks for being here. And best to all of you. Yes, I will have safe travels home. Thank you very much. Hopefully it won't take me 3 days to get back from Florida this time. And think about what you might want to do in January and February with the people you love. Just put that on your calendar, maybe. That's all coming to you guys soon. Okay, Ron, what do you think? Are we out of here?
The out thing.
We're there. Okay. And we are, no, it takes twice. And we are out.